And welcome on a Tuesday night to Loud and Nerdy. My name is JW Colwell. I'm joined, as always, by my good friends Kyle, Defina, who's a pain in the balls, and Jerry Kamora, who's not. Kyle's super amazing.
That's debatable.
That's debatable. Okay, so here's the thing. We were talking about it earlier, right? Whether or not to have the show tonight.
It's okay.
Because there's a major thing going on. And then we realized we're at least going to do it for Ken because he doesn't care about what's happening in our country. Good evening, friends. Good evening, Ken McKernan. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, Joe Ridgely. Thank you for joining us. A lot of stuff going on. And we might go short tonight just because there are other things going on right now. But if you do like and enjoy our show, please check out the bottom scroll that's going to occur throughout the entire show. It has links to our YouTube and our Facebook. Also has Instagram and everything. Also, if you just want to get lazy, I can hold this up and we can look at it right there. Super nice. And then hello, Jamie Hill. And then we could scan that and that will take us to everything on the NERDY-Epsiode network. Good to see you, Jamie Hill. Thank you for joining us as well. But a lot to go over. The first thing that has to be discussed, I was thinking about it like as this is on my desk before I start every show every week, right? And it's a great portion of who I am is Star Wars and Star Wars based stuff. I would be remiss to not talk about James Earl Jones passing. Look at just the pictures I'm going to show you right now of the characters he's portrayed. This scene without his voice doesn't work. This scene without his voice doesn't work. This, and another movie he's in where he's absolutely captivating, Field of Dreams, Lion King, the Star Wars trilogy where he played the voice of Darth Vader.
You don't work here.
What was that?
Go Back to the Future. You don't work here. Whoa!
Oh, whoa! Hey!
You grew some hair.
Well, I mean, it actually fits because what Vader looks like underneath actually fits what Jerry looks like, so we're fine. But he was more than a voice. He was like one of the leading black actors of his generation, and he didn't we were talking about it last night, Jerry. As you and I enjoy some blaxploitation films and Shaft and all those movies that were made in the 70s and early 80s, and he had none of it. He did none of them. No. He was not somebody that would he was very much about serious roles, serious acting. He's one of the only actors to ever win a Tony and then get nominated for the movie adaptation, The Great White Hope. So he was one of our greatest actors. Hey guys, hey Raven, and losing him this week is actually sad. I was thinking about half of my clothing has his picture on it. You know what I mean? And it's just a weird kind of thing. And as we get older, we're gonna lose people that we that are a big chunk of our lives. A lot of our icons and people we looked up to,
our kid heroes.
And our kid heroes are getting up there. So he was 93, lived a very good life. I also want to point out the stage presence. He has a Broadway theater. He's one of the few actors that has a Broadway theater named after him. And performances that if you ever read up on famous Broadway performances, the run he had in August Wilson's Fences is something that if people saw it, they said it was one of the most electric performances. And Fences, of course, became a movie with Denzel Washington, but Denzel had seen him when he performed it first. So it's a great loss to lose James Earl Jones. And I don't know how you guys feel. I know You know, I was like thinking about it, like he was always playing dads, right? Good dads and bad dads, right? You know, Jaffe Joffer, you know what I mean, from Coming to America, Mufasa, Vader. You know, like he had a good run in
Man.
Thulsa Doom, right? He had a good run in the the early Jack Ryan movies as James Greer, right? And so he played against whatever Jack Ryan they threw at him, right? He worked with Alec Baldwin, he worked with Harrison Ford, right? You know, whoever they threw at him, he was playing that character. He was the voice of CNN, for fuck's sake. Like, just, this is CNN. It's not, it's not something you can. But when he says it, it was impressive. But he was more than a voice. He was also like gregarious and funny and just a giving actor. One of the things that I hit upon, and I don't know if anybody knows this, but as a Star Wars fan, we know that he is the voice of Darth Vader, but David Prowse is the person that's playing Vader, 6'5" of him. You know what I mean? And when David Prowse didn't get credit, the acting credit, James Earl Jones refused the credit on Empire Strikes Back. Right? And then for Return of the Jedi, they both got a credit. So it was like, it's not only that he was providing incredible vocal talent and incredible talent all over the place, but he was a generous actor too, right? So I don't know. It's one of those sad days where you're like, just a little bit bummed. What did you guys do this weekend? I've been bummed all weekend. So what did you guys do? Kyle's been throwing fun Raider stuff at me, which is nice. When I'm down.
One little
kick somebody while they're down.
How about those Dolphins? Woo! They got lucky though.
They got real lucky. They got lucky that Jacksonville decided not to do anything for 2 quarters. So they're just like, meh, we should win maybe.
The Lions game was the best game of the week though.
Yeah, the Lions Rams game was really good.
That was
I'm you know what? I'm not. I don't know. I think our defense is good and lasted for 3 quarters, and then the wheels came off, which was fine. It's how the whole season's going to be. But what'd you guys do this weekend? I know you had a big a JEG, better genie than Will Smith. Yes. We're also going to talk about one of his forays into horror anthology later. Hint, hint. But we'll talk about that as it came from Jerry's basement. And we got another Twilight Zone Redux for you. A really interesting episode that I think could be construed way darker than what they envisioned, but we'll talk about that as well too. What'd you guys do this weekend?
Worked on cars.
I saw you were struggling. You were struggling in German, right? You have BMW, yeah.
Yep, in British. That bloody thing.
But okay, football season podcast, watch the testosterone grow up on our nerdy show, blah blah, tunes that football stuff, blah. We don't really mention it that often, but it is indeed football season. Thank you for noticing, Raven.
Unfortunately, football is a pop culture thing. I mean,
it is, considering that we're going to get a bunch of we have at least one TV show this fall that's going to star Travis Kelce, so he's going to get a little bit of rub. He's working with Ryan Murphy on one of the I think his show is called Grotesquerie. So it's like a horror show that Jason Kelce is going to be on. Anyway, so it is part of pop culture. But okay, so you worked on cars. What did you do? You did something fun.
Oh, it's Reagan this week.
Okay,
which was good. I enjoyed it.
I'm terrified that every time I go into a theater playing Reagan, there's a weird bunch of people sitting out front of the theater that's showing the showing, and they're.
You live in Florida. There's a weird bunch of people sitting outside of everywhere in Florida. You know what the sun does to people in Florida?
Well, it's like Scranton too. It ain't all that.
every time I
A lot of
pass
open script.
a screening of Reagan, there's some weird people outside. Didn't say it was, just have no clue. Oh no, I understand. No worries.
No
We should
football.
hang out on the stoop outside of our band room sometime.
Grotesquerie, I think it is. It's grotesque, and then it's ERIE at the end of grotesque. So grotesquerie is the way I think they're pronouncing it. Although Ryan Murphy can do whatever the fuck he wants at this point. So you went to see Green Day, right? Did you go see Green Day?
Oh, Green Day with Rancid, yeah. Good show. Green Day played 37 songs, 2.5 hours.
Green Day, I think, is one of the better bands of our era, where they keep on like they were on this past New Year's, and I was impressed with how fucking vibrant they were. I always hope I don't see JW Joe in the news as Florida Man. You will never see me doing like playing with alligators or on.
I can see Joe just on the news screaming, "I'm on the Gold Coast! I'm on the Gold Coast!"
You're never gonna see me on the Florida Man thing. Kelly, Kyle, did you eat a turkey leg?
Yes, I did have a turkey leg at the Renaissance Fair on Sunday.
Okay, so you went to the Renaissance Fair and you went to see Reagan and you went to.
Everything.
You've had a busy weekend. Why wouldn't you?
And I saw that new movie on Wednesday night. What was it? Say it 3 times for me, JW. What was it?
I don't need to say it 3 times because the title of the movie is only 2. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Ba-dum-bum.
Oh, wait, I'm corrected.
Treasure Coast.
I knew he'd be out there screaming it.
Couldn't that be the Gold Coast, though? Seriously. Okay.
Beetle Coast.
I guess. Oh, yes, I'm not the only one. So Beetlejuice, we could talk about that a little bit. I didn't love it. I liked it. I thought it was good. It's pretty decent. Pretty decent legacy sequel. I think Rich and I hit upon
This is my spoiler-free comment.
Go ahead.
Honestly, Beetlejuice for me was like watching a nostalgic wrestling act come back for one last match. You want to just see him do all the classic
That's not
moves.
That's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, but
I would say
I think you know what you're getting.
do when you know what you're getting. Also, I think the interesting thing here is the construct of the first movie is where you get into where Beetlejuice is kind of a weird thing. They streamed Green Day and I got to watch it. Oh, thank you, Missy. Cool. I think the thing with Beetlejuice is the construct of the first movie, right, is an hour and 32 minutes. It's an hour and 32 minutes. It's very quick. He doesn't have his introduction scene until 45 minutes into the film. So he doesn't have the scene where the Maitlands are interviewing him for 45 minutes into the movie. He's not in the movie that much. He has that sequence, he has the snake sequence that's brief, and then he has the last third of the movie where he's dominating chaos incarnate. I think the interesting construct here is it's a lot more Beetlejuice than we've been accustomed to having. So the construct of this movie is he's inserted into all the storylines, and it's not him inserting them. He kind of is just there. And so instead of being the demonic force of chaos, we see him at the water cooler talking to the people he works with, which, sure, Rich wasn't keen on a Beetlejuice backstory that occurs in the movie. I like the style of the segment. It's done in Mexican horror movie style. I thought that was cool. I think that's the rub. The rub is that the rest of the movie isn't as well constructed as the first movie, in the sense the first movie is about the death of the Maitlands. They're dealing with death. They're haunting their house. They're the focal points, and Beetlejuice is there. And when he shows up, all hell breaks loose. In this one, he's not all hell breaks loose. So it's a little bit tame by standards, and they're not as fun. And he's much better in small increments. He's a character that shows up. blows up a house, and then leaves. Right? But it's good. He's funny. A lot of his lines are funny. He has a lot of funny stuff to do. The side stories are all like kind of it's messy. You have Astrid with the Jenna Ortega character with the Winona Ryder character. You have the Catherine O'Hara character with the Winona Ryder character and the husband dead. And also, can we talk about that for a second, Kyle? I don't know if you feel this way, but Catherine O'Hara is a lot bigger than she was in the original Beetlejuice because Catherine O'Hara has made herself a bigger star than she was during Beetlejuice. Do you feel they chose not to use me to avoid controversy? Alec Baldwin, I've heard them saying that. I don't think so. I think Baldwin is gonna bounce from the Rust shooting to the next thing. I don't think there's any controversy there. I think, and the other thing is Gina Davis is kind of out and about right now. She's been working on a lot of projects that you don't expect her to see. I think it's specifically designed to not have the Maitlands because they are there would be nothing for them to do in this movie except take up space, right? Because the focal point of the movie is Astrid and Lydia and Catherine O'Hara and Winona Ryder. The focal point is the moms and the daughters' relationships. And then Beetlejuice is kind of there with there's a bad boyfriend subplot that kind of works, but the choice between boyfriends is between the icky producer versus Beetlejuice, so that's kind of an easy choice. I think Jenna Ortega gets most of the good stuff to do.
Yeah, but I don't like how they brought back Ortega's dad from that, though.
Yeah, it's a weird. I don't want to give anything away. I know. I think there's a lot of stuff going on, and the movie's not as well constructed as the original. The original had a focal point, and it was a full through line, right? This one is, we have Monica Bellucci as Beetlejuice's wife. There's a lot of stuff going on, and instead of
they're just going to use Alec because of getting the clearance or even be on a set until this is all blown over.
Yeah, I mean that's part of it, but I also don't think there was anything for them to do. Gotta love LNN spoiler. You guys are doing great. I'm kidding. I didn't give any spoilers. Kyle might have. I didn't. I'm just telling you the construct of the movie. That there's a lot of stuff going on.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, and Jerry is completely innocent. Kyle might have spoiled something, but I'm
not a pain in the ass.
God, Monica is so hot. Yeah, she is. And I think that's an interesting subplot that kind of goes nowhere. So there's a lot of stuff, but it's fun. I had a good time. Everybody in the audience I saw it with had a smile on their face. Is it the best movie I've seen this week? No. The best movie I've seen this week is this. We'll talk about this for a brief moment. Strange Darling. Find it. Watch it. Don't know anything about it. Go in blind. Go in as blind as you can possibly go in. It will be one of the key movie-going experiences of your life. It is a fantastic psychosexual thriller. It's like Kissing, and Jerry's always nice and quiet. The only nice guy in cast. Fair. Fair, that's fair. Wait. Jerry's the only nice guy in the cast? Kidding, not kissing. For fuck's sake. Anyway,
so nobody's kissing Jerry?
I guess,
nope.
Or maybe kidding, or whatever. Strange Darling, kids. It's a psychosexual thriller. It's about two people that meet, decide they're going to hook up, and it's a genre and gender bend. It's an amazing piece of work, and go in blind. Go in totally blind. It'll be one of the best movie going experiences. I think it's going to get nominated for cinematography. I think it's going to get a screenplay nomination. I think both actors might get nominated for.
No, that's Sabril.
I think both actors, Willa Fitzgerald and Kyle Gallner, are going to get nominated for Academy Awards. It's that good.
Nice guy.
That's a nice guy, yeah. I also saw this week this
Super
I
nerd.
also saw this, and I can't recommend this enough. Rebel Ridge premiered on Netflix this week on Friday. Aaron Pierce, Don Johnson, Anna Sophia Robb. It is a fantastic action movie. Well done. Got a lot going on. Got a lot to say. I would even, and this is something where I brought it up. I would even says all the married men in cast that have amazing, pretty wives. Shaking my head, laughing my ass off. Yeah, I'm not causing any trouble. And I think the interesting thing with Rebel Ridge, find it, watch it. It's really good. I'm gonna put out a movie here that it reminds me of. I'm gonna say it to you, and you guys can laugh it off if you want, but it is First Blood ish. It reminded me of First Blood, the original, not any of like the sequels where things got increasingly out of the original with the gritty, small town, treating a veteran kind of shitty, corrupt cops, bad cops.
Why are you pushing me?
What is that?
It's like one of them hologram.
Oh, it's Deadpool Game of Thrones.
That's one of those things where you can scrape your fingernail across and it goes.
But Rebel Ridge is definitely high on the list this week. Box office wise, Beetlejuice did amazing. We didn't do. We should have done a competition to see if Jerry had 111 again. It would have been interesting if he said 111 instead of 211.
Damn it!
He could have been right on.
We missed.
Beetlejuice grossed $111 million this weekend. Deadpool Wolverine came in second, coming close to the end of its run. It's at $613 million. So it won't catch Inside Out 2 for the #1 movie of the summer. And the way the summer projecting out, I think it's let's see. Inside Out 2 1, Deadpool 2, Despicable Me 3, and then a bunch of other movies kind of underneath it, which is about right. And all of those movies are still playing in theaters. Despicable Me, Inside Out, and Twisters is one of the biggest hits of the summer as well. So a good summer that didn't start out great, but then kind of caught itself. Was there just pulled in my driveway? I Papa Pen and New Crow is better than Beetlejuice. We talked about this, Joe. If we want to talk about The Crow, we can. Because Kyle, I'm gonna lay it out how I feel about that movie. Okay. So when you say
Comes
to
out
me,
on digital this Friday.
yeah, it's a tanker of epic proportions. It's what I would say is, does the movie get made if it's not called The Crow? That's my question to you, Kyle. Does the movie get made if it's not called The Crow?
Considering some of the things I've seen get made, probably.
I don't think so. I think.
I mean, so what? You had the Wish.com fucking Joker for The Crow.
Well, what I'm saying to you is, I think the thing about The Crow, the reboot, and again, I don't read the comics, so if you're saying to me it's more comic realistic, sure, okay. The compelling part of the movie is there's nothing compelling about the movie. The movie is the music isn't great. The only sequence that really works is the opera house sequence
At the end.
At the end, that's the only sequence that really kind of pops. Everything else is kind of
at that point, though. If you were the guy's bodyguards, wouldn't you be like, yeah, okay, you know what? I'm not getting paid enough for this shit.
Well, but also that's the other problem with it. Like, think about that sequence, right? And how we've seen other major assault movie sequences go. How quick are cops there? How, especially to an opera house with a bunch of rich people sitting in it. So, like, there's stuff like that drove me absolutely bonkers.
Okay.
I'll give you another one that drove me bonkers.
Let's start off by going, this is going to go very spoiler heavy. So if you haven't seen it.
Well, I'm not going to go spoiler heavy. I don't have to go spoiler heavy. I'm just going to tell you, I don't think it, like, I think if you compare it to the original Crow, it's really bad. If you compare it to just an average action movie, it's not good either. And my thing is, it only gets made because it's called The Crow. It doesn't get made any other way. And the only way it gets made, and if there's any interest in it, is if there's a chance that you're getting the magic from the original Crow. Because you're not talking about any of the other Crows. You're not talking about City of Angels or, the Crow Wicked Prayer. I didn't find much good in Beetlejuice. Fair. I smiled the entire time. Thought it was funny. I like Jenna Ortega. I like Catherine O'Hara. She steals every scene she's in. About the Crow, though, and I'm. So my thing is, does it get made if it's not called the Crow? And the answer is probably no. And then
I think it does. I think it would have done better without being tied to the Crow.
You think it would have done better if it wasn't tied to the Crow? I don't think it would have had to have done better, because it didn't do anything. Like it's one of the biggest bombs of the summer. That and Borderlands are the two tankers of the summer. Movies that just came out and just landed with a
Does
thud.
Borderlands get made if it doesn't have that title?
What if it was called A Crow?
A Crow? Funny.
Instead of The Crow?
Well, no.
What
But
about
Borderlands.
Bang, fuck dead.
Borderlands doesn't get made either. But I'll give you an example. I'll tell you something that bugs the shit out of me. There's a sequence towards the middle of the movie. I don't even need to say anything. There's a sequence. He goes to an apartment. Anybody's apartment. Doesn't matter who it is. Goes to an apartment. And there's a whole thing where he's talking to somebody and whatever, and then there's a whole thing where people show up and they shoot everything up, and he's just in the apartment for 20 minutes, and then people just show up. Kyle, let me tell you how my mind was racing during this movie, okay? And this is when I'm not engaged in a movie, I am ripping it to shreds in my mind. Why was there why was there bath water?
Water in the tub. That was one of my questions. My better one for you though is
wait. What I'm saying to you is it's designed wholly so he can fall in the bathwater and get blood in the bathwater and then rise out of the bathtub. It fucking sucks. It doesn't make any sense, and it's just dumb. And it bugged me. I was sitting there the entire time.
How about the hidden cell phone for over a month that still had a charge and no luck and no
That's fine. That's another stupid
nothing.
thing. There are so many little things.
We were laughing our asses off at that. But
yeah, but I
then look at that stuff and I laugh about it, and that's not.
But you laugh about it. But how can you take a movie seriously? After that port, Kyle, I turned to the person I was with, who was like, maybe you should give it a better chance, and I'm like, I can't. They just had a fucking full.
Found out it wasn't Brandon Lee.
That's part of it is the magic of Brandon Lee. But I can review it without Brandon Lee involved in any way. The movie is incoherent. And it's also I'll give you an example of a basic premise that is in the comics, that isn't in the movie, that doesn't work at all, that worked perfectly in the original film, right? So Crow brings him back. The Crow leads him where he needs to go, right? This Crow does the same thing. But not once do we get the cool Crow vision where they're looking directly at the people that they're going to go after, right? That bugged me. Also, and this is an easy thing to say, are any of the characters in the movie compelling? Are any of the villains compelling in any way? Even the main villain, who is, and again, I'm not giving anything away. I'm not going to give anything away about this movie. Even the main villain, is he compelling in any way, shape, or form? Do we ever learn anything about him? Do we ever learn why? Do we learn anything that makes him, there's almost no.
The first 2 minutes with the horse, does that make any sense to you?
No, nothing makes sense. That's what I'm saying to you. Nothing in the movie. It's one of those movies where it's it can't live up to the title, and the only reason it got made is the title. And then it also, it's all over the place. It's wonky. Do you know what the horse reminded me of? This is, again, an amazing shout down that I know Jerry will understand immediately. When they put the white horse in the movie and it went black and white, do you know what I immediately thought of? Jerry, what did I think of? White horse, black and white, immediately as the horse is put on screen.
White horse and black
A
and
white horse out of nowhere.
Lone Ranger.
No, I wish it were the Lone Ranger.
I don't know.
I immediately thought of Halloween 2 by Rob Zombie.
Oh,
Why is the horse here?
I
Who
might
gives a
not have
flying
made it all
fuck
the way
about the horse? Who cares about who? Like, and that's another thing. Like the Eric Draven relationship with the girl with the formerly known as. Did you care about them at all? Did you were you into it at all? Like that they escaped from a. I'm not gonna. Do you care
Did he
about
play
them at all?
guitar?
What was that?
Did he play guitar? Because he
No.
did in the original.
Nope.
He was a musician.
Nope. He's a musician, but nope. Again,
Did he play?
I'll give you another example. You know what, Kyle? I'll give you another one. Let's say you don't call this character Eric Draven and you just have the crow and he's a different crow. Maybe.
Another crow.
But again, it's Eric Draven. And so immediately you have all these different things going on in your head of what should be occurring, even from the comic book standpoint. The movie did not work for me in any way, shape, or form. I felt that in the 3 minutes we got with Eric and Shelley in the original Crow was better than 25 minutes we got with Skarsgård and formerly known as Twig.
Maybe it should have been Derek Draven. Then it would have been, you know.
I don't know, man.
Like
I was not feeling the vibe.
You know?
I was not feeling the vibe. I was in an empty theater with 4 other people, and everybody was kind of just sitting there groaning and just and I got frustrated by the bathtub sequence. It was the stupidest sequence. And you're right.
Is there anyone in that theater under 40?
No.
Under 40 in that theater?
Nope.
No.
Nope. There was the person I was with, because Chris is younger. Chris is on the younger side. He's gonna be 25. So, and he was like, I looked at that movie and I couldn't get past shortcomings. And the midway through, any compelling characters that they have, the actors playing them aren't towering enough to kind of make it work. I don't know. And the villains didn't do anything for me. So that means if your villains don't work in a Crow movie, then the revenge doesn't work either, right? Because they don't seem... The villains don't seem to enjoy their work, and they're all European trash villains, like they're out of a John Wick movie. And it's like they're the most boring characters I've ever seen.
Side note, did anyone see that meme that's going around with Thanos doing the snap and John Wick holding his dog as it disintegrates and then Thanos going, oh, fuck.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's the other thing. There is parts of this movie that they want, the opera sequence is something right out of John Wick, right? It's designed to be look like John Wick. And that's the thing. I don't think the fighting is bad. But again, he's fighting all nameless robots, right? They're all nameless robots. See, there's a henchman.
That's the villain we need. That's a villain.
That's the henchman we need. But I was thinking about it. All the people in the original are all interesting. Every single one of the villains, the Tony Todd character, the Michael O'Donnell character, the Bai Ling character, they're all fucking interesting. And not a single one of the villains in this one is interesting in any way, shape, or form. They're boring. And they even have extra stuff that should make them not boring, but they're boring. So when he starts killing everybody, it's like, oh, that guy had a gold tooth. Yeah, he was one of the people in the apartment. Okay. But they're all nameless, faceless. I don't know. I got taken out of it by a bunch of things. The cell phone thing I was thinking about as well, but also the bathtub, Kyle, took me out of the fucking movie.
I said that one to my wife too about the bathtub, and she's like, you never had it where you got the bath temperature just right and then someone knocks on the door and you just leave the water there to go back to? I'm like, no. Especially when you're at a... Never mind. I'm not going to...
Yeah. No. The answer is no.
Wait, a guy taking a bath?
I didn't say it. Jerry ruined it this time. Yeah. Yeah, Jerry. Think about that.
Well, it doesn't really happen, does it? I mean,
No, it doesn't.
Is it really a spoiler if no one's going to watch it but me and Joe?
did they put roses in it, or did he put a bath
No.
bomb in there too? Or
No, Jerry, okay.
With a loofah or whatever.
Again, not a spoiler. He goes to visit someone he knows.
You keep my loofah's name out of your mouth. Smack.
He goes.
You loofah my stretch march.
He goes to visit his friend, the only friend he has left in the movie. He goes to visit him. The moment he goes to visit his friend, all the bad guys show up. There is a tub, like as he's running away and trying to escape, there is a tub filled with water, and it's specifically there. The only reason it's there is so he can get shot, fall in the water, bleed in the water. The bad guys can look at him and go, "Oh!" And it looks cool, right? It looks like, John Travolta getting. It looks like John Travolta getting shot in Pulp Fiction, but there's water in the tub, and he falls and like blood everywhere. And then blood starts seeping into the water, and the guys walk away, and then of course he pops back up out of the water,
slow motion with the breath,
slow motion garbage out of the water. And all I could think of myself is, what guy is taking a fucking bath? And for Joe and Kyle, I'm going to tell you right now, if I wasn't engaged, I was certainly engaged after that to go, what the fuck else is wrong with this movie? That there's decisions so
maybe he was
stupid.
Drown the girlfriend.
No, it's not. No, that's not the piece of the movie. It is.
Well,
that's the other thing. I'll give you another example.
The
choices they make in the first one, right? And again, you can view it as just a bad movie, and it is a bad movie. Or you can then when it gets real bad, Kyle and Jerry, when it gets real bad is when you start thinking about the original compared to this one. Then it becomes Kyle. Please admit that once you compare the original to this one. And I know we were talking. Missy and I were talking, and she's like, "It's apples to oranges." I'm like, "Is it?" It's virtually the same plot. One's done really well, one's done poorly. One has good actors in it, one doesn't.
Is the little girl in it too?
There's no little girl. Nope. No.
That kind of ties the story, though, doesn't it?
Yes, and it's amazing, and it was a decision they made after the fact, and also like. There's no character actor like Ernie Hudson there to kind of like the cops are all kind of like
I don't believe you, but now I do, and I'm doing right by you.
But there's nobody there to do that either. And then they choose to have a lot more in middle life sequences that are frankly boring. Like they're just and it's almost 2 hours and 10 minutes long, Jerry.
Wow.
And it's a fucking slog. And again, I would say the answer is it's not apples to oranges because the movie doesn't get made without the crow and its potato. And then also they get no funding. They get no funding for a movie about a guy who comes back from the dead and kills a bunch of boring villains. None. So you need the crow to get that funding. You get the funding, and then you specifically like you know what? Midway through, I was thinking everybody cared about the look of what he looked like. I didn't give a shit about that. The look was fine. The movie was boring, and the villains were awful. And that's the thing. The Crow, I would say any revenge movie, the villains are what makes the revenge digestible for the audience.
Hans Gruber.
And I'm not even, Kyle, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not even going to get into the major decision they made. And you know what I mean, right? The major decision, right? The major decision that was kind of different from the original in every way that ends up being super boring and never explained. You would agree with that? Super boring because he doesn't, like, it's not cool. And then it's never explained. Also never explained why the fascination with music.
I'm going to take a guess. Was the tub cast iron?
It was a nice tub. It was a nice cruddy apartment.
Was it modern?
It was a nice cruddy apartment tub, Jerry. But that's what I'm going to say to you, Kyle. I just feel like all the decisions they made were bad decisions. Like every single choice they got down the list, they're like, okay, well, let's look. It's okay. What about the villains of the piece? How are the villains shaping up? Not one of them is interesting. Not one of them is tied to their characters.
Like they just wanted to make money.
No, they didn't do that either.
They didn't do that either.
I know. It sounds like it, though.
It's a failure on, and then, like, and again, I say this with all due respect to everybody who did like it. It doesn't get made if it's not called The Crow, and then if you compare it to The Crow, people get mad at you for comparing it to the original. And it's like, but it doesn't get made if it doesn't have the title. And then the original is so much better than it in every key choice. The little girl, the crow vision, the set design of the city, the villains, the actors playing the villains, the villain choices. It doesn't work in any function of a movie. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe it'll become a cult film, but I think most people are gonna see it for free on a streaming service and never watch it again.
I think it might have had a chance to be a cult film if it wasn't named The Crow.
They can't live up to the dark side.
I'm gonna be honest, I go into every movie and I want to love every movie. But I have to be met some way. I have to be engaged. And Kyle, you know what? You should have warned me about the bathtub. Because you know of all the people in your life that are going to notice something that fucking dumb. It bugged me the rest of the fucking movie. And it became...
It's like tripping over a banana peel that came from nowhere.
It became like... As I'm watching the rest of the movie, Kyle, I was like, but the bathtub thing. The bathtub thing was so dumb. So dumb. And then the phone thing happens, and that's also super dumb.
But anyway,
watch, go find Strange Darling and find Rebel Ridge, because these are good movies. The Crow is not. Beetlejuice is okay, and it's good fan service. It's a legacy sequel that lives up to it. It's the first. Brandon's was loosely based on comic and Metacritic. It's different. I like different. Hopefully we don't make a bad movie. It's a bad movie. Joe, I know. I understand what you're saying. I was thinking about this, Joe. I have this for you. This is an announcement that we need to get in tonight anyway, so this is a good, perfect time. This is a thing. Had an awesome development meeting with actor John Dugan, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Carlos Haunt movie, and more. And writer-director Terry Jarrow, friend of the show, from Black Dog Films, Harlow's Haunt. Pay attention, Bayview Entertainment. From the sounds of it, we're making a movie. Very excited about the next Harlow movie going in a new, different direction. 2025 is going to be amazing. Harlow's Haunt 2, Black Dog Films, Terry, John, Joe, Indiescape Network, for Creatives Unite. So that's a big announcement. Harlow's Haunt 2. Harlow's Haunt movie, of course, has been doing superb on Bayview Entertainment. Here's my copy of Harlow's Haunts, unopened for collector purposes. But the great folks at Harlow's Haunt movie are doing it again. Apparently, I'm super happy for Terry and Joe, and maybe some other people will be involved. I want to be killed in a scooter, Kyle. That's all I'm asking. I want a good, solid death.
I thought it was going to happen last year at
Halloween
Horror Haunt. Yeah. I mean, when we were going through that fog area a couple times, I thought somebody was going to come out and take you out.
I was hitting other people. Anyway, Rebel Ridge.
I mean, those 7 children you ran over alone. The parents
those kids had it coming.
Damn speed bumps.
So, another thing I would like to talk about, since we're talking about reboots and we're talking about we're talking about reboots and what is expected of things. Did you guys by any chance catch the design of the Wolfman for the new
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it up. It appeared a couple weeks ago. Blumhouse. First off, the trailer is really good. I want to say that right off. The trailer is very good. It's very tense. That a guy gets bit. Looks amazing. It's a wolf. It's called The Wolfman, right? And it'll be in theaters January 17th. The trailer looks phenomenal. Now, here's where JW gets a little bit crazy and goes, I don't know. I have no fucking clue if they have any
Because
context.
the Wolfman has a bathtub. Wait, what?
No, he doesn't. He's okay.
Like Gremlins, if he falls in it, then there's more Wolfmen.
That would be amazing. Also, it'd be amazing.
I'll see the Wolfman after midnight.
It would be amazing if you had a Wolfman movie where he couldn't eat after midnight. Like,
I'm not the Wolfman. I'm one of the Wolfmen.
Okay, I'm going to show a picture right now, and I want your honest reactions. And again, we haven't seen the movie; we don't know. But this is what has appeared. This is what has appeared at Halloween Horror Nights in conjunction with the release on January 17th of the new Wolfman from Blumhouse. Here we go. Ready?
Okay, so basically it's one of the bankers from Harry Potter that is losing their hair.
I don't know what the fuck it is. I don't know if it's an early design. I don't know what. I don't know.
Is that an animatronic from Spirit Halloween? Come on, dude.
No, it's not. That is a cost. Again, makeup is going to be better, obviously, in the movie, but this is something they pulled out. This is the character design that they pulled out at the Blumhouse scare zone. And
somebody pissed off grandfather.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not feeling it. Like, I want a good Wolfman movie in the worst possible way. I actually like when you picture this, and then you think about the Benicio del Toro movie that came out that everybody gave a lot of shit over. It's what Jack would look like now as a Wolfman. Maybe.
What would be great is if they did if they did like the stop motion makeup.
Jack has already done a Wolfman movie, and he looked a hell of a lot. Jack has done a hell of a lot better as a Wolfman. He was in a movie called Wolf, where he became a wolf at the end, and it was fantastic.
I mean, Teen Wolf looks better than that, for God's sakes.
It doesn't look great, right? And the movie is coming out in January 17, and I'm just like, when you put
looks like a reject from Gringotts.
It looks like any. It looks. I don't know. I don't
it's
know
like
what
something
it looks
from
like.
Dead Heat.
I don't know what it looks like.
Little China, maybe.
I don't know what it looks like, but do you know what it doesn't look like?
Doesn't look like the Wolfman.
It doesn't look like the Wolfman. That's the key to everything. The key is that I don't know what it looks like, but what it doesn't look like is a werewolf, because
it's a werewolf with alopecia.
Well, he's like losing his hair, and he's like, he doesn't have claws. Like it just. The
like
trailer, by the way, I need to
put that on me.
The trailer, by the way, looks fantastic. Like, the trailer is tense. It's like, it's about a father protecting his daughter and his wife on a hunting, like they're on a camping trip.
Shows up.
And then, but that's the look. That's the look that a multi-million-dollar
shows up here.
That's the look of multi. You know what it also looks like a little bit like
the dude from.
It looks like what happened to the poor guy in RoboCop when he gets hit by the vat of acid. And it's just I know that's what I was referring to. Yeah,
totally.
I don't know, man. I don't.
So now,
go ahead.
So keeping up with your little theme we got going here, you posted something back on August 27th on your own Facebook page, JW. Got a lot of responses with your job is to pick the most awful actor possible to play James Bond.
Yes.
And this was a fun post.
It was.
And some of these answers: Jacqueline Phoenix, Vince McMahon, Carrot Top, Pauly Shore as James Bond would have been one of my favorites.
Yeah, man.
Joe Ridgely with Emmanuel Lewis.
That would have been amazing.
Robert Downey Jr. I don't think would be that bad. Tom Green.
I think the Robert Downey Jr. thing is the backlash from the Von Doom thing. Like, there's now backlash because Robert Downey Jr. is coming back, so people are a little chippy until we get any real footage of him as Doctor Doom. We can't. Nobody's like, he's kind of person non grata.
So far, I'm all for Emmanuel Lewis. Just saying.
I think
Pee-wee
Emmanuel Lewis
Herman.
Pee-wee would be a fantastic. You know, the two that I thought of immediately, Pee-wee Herman and Mr. Bean would be fantastic. Like, Mr.
That's
Bean's
on there?
actually British. Yeah, he's there. He's
Jack
perfect.
Black.
Jack Black
Dwayne
is also
Johnson.
Jack Black is having a weird year because he's also this week in the Minecraft trailer, which is just, I will say, the 6 and 8 year old nephews thrilled, can't wait. Rest of us going, I don't know the fuck what is happening here and what is going on, and like you've played.
We'll put that up in a minute, Joe. Jackie Gleason, that was a good one. Shaq. Keanu Reeves, I think, might actually be a good James Bond.
He wouldn't be bad. He would be doing a British accent, which wouldn't be great. This all ties.
Carey.
Benny Hill.
Benny Hill. This all ties to the fact that
Adam Sandler.
we're very close to having the new James Bond named. Aaron Taylor Johnson is the odds-on favorite, but there are other people that are in the mix. Aaron Taylor Johnson recently cut his hair, and that was a bit like, so he's coming off Kraven the Hunter, right? And he shaved his head, like cut his hair, and his hair is high and tight, like Bond would be. So there was big rumors about him.
But I didn't get a reply from you on my pick on this one, though, JW.
What was your pick?
I said it didn't matter who you would pick; it would be ruined if it just said directed by Rob Zombie. But to be fair, also Sherry Moon Zombie would be playing James Bond then.
Yes, James Bond.
And James Bond would be a ridiculously trashy trailer park tour.
Zombie.
It would be bad. But yeah, those are the kind of fun posts you can get in the loud nerdy group. What did Joe want to talk about? Where was Joe? You guys watch the new Gary Coleman doc? No, it is on my list though. There are two documentaries. There are two documentaries this September that are on my list. The Gary Coleman documentary, I just haven't gotten to it, and the new Christopher Reeve doc, Superman, right? Which is all about him.
That's a Phantom.
It's a Phantom event that's coming up, and I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to it. The documentary. The other doc, I'm looking forward to the Will Ferrell travel documentary with his trans friend. Also looks amazingly well done and amazingly heartfelt about, I guess somebody that was a writer on SNL came out as trans and is living life as a woman. And he told, one of the people he told was Will Ferrell, and he said, let's go on a road trip. Let's hash this out. I watched the new 3-part Marilyn Manson doc. It's Paramount in Canada. Don't ask. I'm hoping these girls are crying wolf. I don't know. There's been a lot of smoke around Marilyn Manson about how he treated women, which isn't great. I'm not a big fan of.
He was saying about cake and sodomy.
Yeah, I mean,
my mother wanted to know if that wolf man was the banjo player from Deliverance.
You know what? I don't know what, and maybe it's just
That's pretty good.
Jerry, if you were making a horror film called The Wolfman, would you put that guy out at Halloween Horror Nights?
No.
No, because it makes me not want to see the Wolfman movie. Like,
that's the Wolfman. Wolf.
It's the Wolfman. He's supposed to look like a wolf.
Yeah, not
this guy doesn't look like a wolf at all. Like, and even if you get him on all fours, and I know Kyle wants to, it wouldn't work. Okay. Perfect time to talk about getting on all fours and doing wacky stuff. It came from Jerry's basement. Jerry's basement. Why can't I get the ship? There we go. It came from Jerry's basement. What do we got this week, Jerry? And I think I love how, can I tell you, I love how you pick things that celebrate people we lose. So go. What do you got this week?
This week I have Grim Prairie Tales.
Okay, so this is a horror anthology from
Yep,
1990.
Stars Brad Dourif
And
James
who
Earl
else?
Jones.
And James Earl Jones. It's an anthology film comprised of 4 separate stories. It's told by 2 travelers around a prairie campfire in the Old West. Some of them are horror based, some of them are not. That should be said. But look at the getup of one James Earl Jones. Look at how great he looks in this movie. Speaking of great James Earl Jones parts, look at him around the fire as a bounty hunter. And so it's now here's where
Even on the front, the face looks great on the front too.
Yeah, his show it. It's amazing. Look at him, yeah, cackling over a fire, and the other traveler, of course, played by horror legend Brad Dourif from the Child's Play movies, the Alien Resurrection movie. So many great movies. But what I want to say is, if you dig deep on this movie, first off, made by a director who only directed one movie. His name's Wayne Coe. Super cool, but this is where it gets wild. So it didn't get great reviews. It did okay. Didn't make a lot of money, but it was a big video rental back in the day. But I don't know if you know this, Jerry. The storyboard artist, Coe, was a storyboard artist and set decorator, and he was working on a sequel called Grim Prairie Tales Rescue Party that never got made. But this movie is the feature film debut of Academy Award-winning cinematographer Janusz Kaminski, who worked on all of the Spielberg movies, right? Schindler's List, Oscar winner. He was at the time worked as a lighting technician and a second unit director on this movie, which is wild. The other person who worked on this movie is Wally Pfister, who is another Academy Award-winning cinematographer, and he was a key grip. So it's not only a fun little, like, wacky kind of anthology horror film set in the Old West, but it's also the place where some amazing cinematographers got their start. And it's just good to celebrate James Earl Jones, because he did a lot of movies and he did a lot of things.
Yes.
And this is one of the more interesting ones he did. The anthology, they range from good to not so great. But like, there's an an Indian tribe revenge thing. Basically, somebody desecrates a burial ground. We've kind of heard those before. Second story is basically a seductive pregnant demon woman, which is kind of fun, and actually got the movie labeled as kind of a feminist Western almost, because it's very pro female. It's very pro, in how it views the pregnancy, even though she's a demon. The third story has nothing to do with the occult or supernatural at all. And it's basically about a father who's forced to join a lynch mob, played by William Atherton, another great actor, right? Fantastic. You know him from Ghostbusters. You know him from Die Hard, right? And then basically the last one is about a gunslinger hunted by a gunman he killed in a shootout. So they're Old West based stories. It's fun. Where can people find that, Jerry? Can people find
this
that
is available straight up on YouTube.
YouTube. So free on YouTube with a little bit of commercials.
Or free
excellent.
Here. If you ever
or
can.
free here. Yeah, if you come to Jerry's basement and hang out.
Yes, I do have a working VCR, so
Yeah, it's fine. It'll work. Everything's cool.
I always have an extra on hand.
Last thing we need to talk about this week, Twilight Zone Redux, Jerry. This episode is called The Big Tall Wish. And, first things first, when you're talking about this episode, right? What stands out is that this is an episode that aired in April of 1960. Almost every person in the show is an African American actor, except for the corner guy, right?
You can do it, boy.
You can do it, yeah, except for the corner guy. Everybody else is an African American, and this is the narration. In this corner of the universe, a prize fighter named Boley Jackson 183 pounds and an hour and a half away from a comeback at St. Nick's Arena. Mr. Bully Jackson, who, by the standards of his profession, is an aging, over-the-hill relic of what was and who now sees a reflection of a man who's left too many pieces of his youth in too many stadiums for too many years before too many screaming people. Mr. Bully Jackson, who might do well to look for some gentle magic in the hard surface glass that stares back at him. It is a fantastic episode. It's about an African American boxer named Bully Jackson, and it's really an amazing kind of episode, right? Where you're looking at Bully Jackson is played by Ivan Dixon, right? There's a kid who lives in his tenement building named Henry Temple, who's played by Stephen Perry. His mom is played by Kim Hamilton, Frances Temple. And then it's about like this fight. It's about like a boxer who's at the end of his rope, who's basically going into a fight where he knows he's going to get gashed, right? That's the picture of Bully and Henry and Frances. And then, the kid and him have an incredible relationship where he takes him places, takes him to ball games, takes him to hockey games, hot dogs. He apparently is a child that doesn't have a father figure. Bully fits right in. And Bully is going to fight the fight of his life against Consiglio, a giant mammoth Italian American who he's fighting. But right before the fight, he gets into a fight with his promoter, right? Yep. And he hits his hand on the wall and breaks all the bones, seemingly all of the bones in his hand. And the plot revolves the big wish, the big tall wish is that Henry, sometimes when he wishes for things, they come true. So, for example, his mom was short $15 in rent. Henry wished for it, and she magically received the check.
Big wish.
The big tall.
He makes the big wish.
Sometimes he makes the big wish, and basically he wishes for his mom to have enough for rent. She gets a check from somebody that she had worked for privately as a nurse. Rent solved. But Bully is at the point of his life, which is interesting, where he's taken a lot of shots. And he's wished things and the wishes haven't come true for him, right? So he's kind of the sad
kid, right?
Right. He's kind of the sad character that basically the kid believes in more than Bully believes in himself.
Yep, he's very
skeptical. So as the fight plays out, he doesn't have he can't use his right hand. As the fight plays out, he gets knocked down. And actually, the most interesting portion of this episode is how the camera doesn't focus too much on the boxing. The camera focuses on the reactions of the crowd, which is really interesting. So like women covering their face, another woman is grabbing somebody's arm, like, oh my God, what's going to happen?
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too.
People who are betting
the fight.
They don't even show the fight. People who are betting or like
they show feet and reactions.
Feet and reactions. So, one guy's eating popcorn. Another guy's got the thing he made the bets with, and he's folding the betting card up, and it's just really great because they don't have to show the boxing at all. Anyway, Bully Jackson ends up face down, at which point Henry grabs the television and says, "Bully, I wish," and the next thing you know, Bully Jackson's not on the canvas anymore. Bully Jackson's holding his hand up.
Yep, and the other guy is.
And the other guy's on the canvas. And Bully walks home and he gets congratulated by all the people in the neighborhood, and he goes in, and the first person he goes up to see is Henry, and Henry's on the roof, feeding his rabbits, and they have this amazing moment where basically Henry says, in order for the wish to stick, you have to believe in the magic. And the thing is, Bully's middle-aged, broken down, and he just doesn't believe in magic anymore. And it's one of the most heartfelt. And basically, he tells the kid he's crazy, and he also tells the kid that you shouldn't wish, and like the world is going to crush up your dreams and hopes. And
then he loses it.
And then he loses the fight. He ends up on the canvas. He comes home. People are making fun of him. he goes to see the child, and basically the child has taken everything that Bully has said to him to heart. I'm not going to wish anymore. I don't believe in magic. And Bully, it's one of those episodes where the main character is not the focal point of the Twilight Zone. The kid is. And the thing is, Bully says to him, and you know what? We'll worry about that. We'll worry about that coming forward. There's also made mention of another wish he has had during the episode, and I have to think the way the mother reacts and the way the mother holds her tongue is that Henry wants Bully to be his dad. Henry wants Bully in his life, right? He puts you on a pedestal. He has you up here, and I think it's this great moment where this guy's lost everything in his life, but he looks over and he says, "No, you need to keep believing, and you need your wishes, and you need your dreams." And so Bully has lost his dream, but maybe, just maybe, he as a character can fulfill the dreams of this child. It's such a good episode. And it's all, I can't even put into words how an all African American cast in 1960, how important it is to see other people that don't look like you on television with the same hopes and dreams and lives that we have.
Yeah, the kid played a really good part, though.
Kid was amazing.
Yeah,
I think one of the things about the Twilight Zone that I'm learning is all the episodes, the children episodes, the kids are amazing. So here's the closing narration. Mr. Bully Jackson, 188 pounds, 183 pounds, who left a second chance lying in a heap on a rosin splattered canvas at St. Nick's Arena. Mr. Bully Jackson, who shares the most common ailment of men, the strange and perverse disinclination to believe in a miracle, the kind of miracle to come from the mind of a little boy, perhaps only to be found in the Twilight Zone. So he gives up on it, and I just think, it's one of those episodes where maybe Bully trying to believe in the magic for the kid. There's not enough people around to believe in the magic. And I just think it's something we talk about every day, about people losing their wishes, losing their hopes and dreams, and just how life kind of crushes you. But if you have a child in your life, or a young person, like you have 2 kids, or if you have people in your life, they don't deserve to have whatever weight we have on us put on them. Right?
Gives you some good reminders sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, and the writing was stellar. Also, again, I can't even begin to fathom how they got an almost all African American cast on television in the 60s. I don't know how Rod Serling does it, but he's wrapping these social commentaries in such a finely tuned scripts and bows that he gets away with it. You know what I mean? At a time when,
how many more episodes are there? There's 30 some in the first season, right?
Yes, we got about. This is episode. Let's see. This is episode 27. We got 11 left
in the first season, right?
Yeah. Next episode next week is a nice place to visit. Kyle, you can come back now.
Oh, what? Oh.
There he is.
Okay.
Were you on a dump mission?
This is a good place to end. I know other people.
No, that was the blip. The blip happened.
The blip.
I tried to snap.
Or the plot.
I had a big tall wish that Kyle would watch the fucking.
In honor of your in honor of your little haunted nights, though, I did go back and grab.
Oh, the Wolfman.
The Wolfman.
Yeah. Wolfman.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the real Wolfman. Wolfman. He actually looks like a wolf. That's the rub. The Wolfman has to look like a fucking wolf, doesn't he? Christ.
And the Wolfman has nards.
I'm a big believer in that. That's a
great movie too.
That's a fantastic movie. Excellent wolf design. My favorite werewolf design, however, is Dog Soldiers. I love really good design. American Werewolf in London, of course, and The Howling are easy picks, but Dog Soldiers, the werewolves have wide arms.
I didn't mind the Silver Bullet one either.
He's more of a werebear. Like,
or
he looks
or Waxwork. The one in Waxwork was all right too.
pretty good too. Okay, Jerry, what are you working on? What do you got going on? Where can people find you?
I'm on TikTok and here, Facebook. I actually have that thing that I don't know. I put to. It's like a contest to meet Kane Hodder.
Yes,
Not-
the scariest person, the new face of fear, I believe it's called.
Yeah, that's it. The face of fear. Like a
Excellent.
voting thing. I looked it up. There's a whole bunch of different rounds.
Kyle's dying. Give us a second. Kyle,
So-
are you okay? What do you got going on,
Yeah.
my friend?
Just grabbing up tickets for all the different haunts in the area.
Yeah,
New
it's almost
October.
haunted. It's almost haunted house season. Okay, you can find me, JW the Movie Guy, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, all those places. You can also find me next Monday night. Great show, gents. Dojan said I make small bowl and watch the circus replay. Who am I to argue? Fair. Next week on Generation Movie on Monday night, we have this wonderful movie, amazing. The original Hellboy, Guillermo del Toro, Ron Perlman, Selma Blair, John Hurt, fantastic. Hasn't been equaled, and we're doing Hellboy because next week Hellboy: The Crooked Man comes out, which, like The Crow, looks like a pile of trash. Anyway, anywho, thank you for joining us tonight. Everybody have a great week. We'll see everybody next week. Thanks for coming. We appreciate you. Pay attention. Look for those Harlow Haunt 2 stuff that's happening. And also, one other thing. I have a big thing going on this week, which is kind of nice. We're going to TJ Bowser's network. We're going to the Project Ladder Podcasting Network. So we're not doing that, but you can find it here. ProjectLadder.net, Celluloid Psychosis. We'll be talking about Suspiria, the famous Italian horror film. Thank you for joining us tonight. That's tomorrow night at 6. Okay,
Yes,
Kyle
Joe, I
definitely got a
did.
haircut. Yeah, you got a haircut. Celluloid Psychosis tomorrow night on Project Louder, and we're gonna have a whole thing where we discuss Suspiria. Thanks for joining us tonight. Everybody have a great week.
Before you go, turn around again, Kyle. Show him. Look at this. Look
That's
at
amazing.
it. Look at it.
I like it, high and tight. Thanks. All the ladies are going to be screaming for it. Thanks for joining us tonight. Everybody have a great week and stay out of trouble.